All right. Welcome to Unfiltered. This is a side note. If these videos are making an impact in your life, then please like, please subscribe, and please share these videos with other people. It helps me tremendously. So earlier today, I was looking for the TV remote. I had misplaced it, and I was ready to turn the TV on, and so I started looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So I started looking on the couch and through the couch, and I started looking on various tables in my living room, and then I moved to the kitchen, and I looked on the kitchen table. I looked in the kitchen. I still couldn't find it. Then I go into my bedroom, and I look in my bedroom, and I was starting to get frustrated, and so I even went in rooms that I haven't even been in today, looking for a remote that obviously I wouldn't find in there because I haven't even gone in those rooms today. Now I go back, and now I go back looking through the couch a little bit more thoroughly, and then looking on the tables, in my living room, and I go back to the kitchen. I look on the kitchen table, and I walk past it. I go into the kitchen, and I look in the kitchen, and I still can't find it. I end up going back to the bathroom, looking in the bathroom in case for some weird reason I had carried it in there with me. And then I went back to my bedroom again, and now this happened. This lasted for about 15 minutes, and I began to be frustrated, trying to figure out where this remote is. So I walk back, I start looking through the couches again, I look on the tables in the living room, and then I go back into the kitchen, and I look on the kitchen table, and right there in front of me, not hidden, but in plain sight, was the remote. It had been there all along. Yes, I had walked by and I had looked on the kitchen table. I've looked at it multiple times, and yet I didn't see it. Like I said, it wasn't hidden. It wasn't underneath some kind of, couple of letters or something. It wasn't hidden from me. In fact, it was sitting right there in plain sight. I looked at it multiple times, but yet I didn't see it. Have you ever watched a movie 100 times? You've seen it so many times, and then one day when you're watching it, you see something in the movie that you haven't seen before, and it's so strange to you because you're like, I've seen this movie so many times, but yet I've never noticed that. That popped out of the screen at me, and now I noticed something that I've never noticed before. You ever been reading a book or reading the Bible or reading something, a passage or something that you've read hundreds and hundreds of times, and when you read it this time, something pops out, and you see something in that text that you hadn't seen before. It had been there all along. You've looked at it many times, but just like that remote, you were looking at it, but you didn't actually see it. I remember I was in this halfway house for 90 days, and I was in this real small room, and at night I would lay on the bed and I would look up at the ceiling and I would think about my day and I would pray and do different things. And I remember towards the end of my stay, after being there almost 3 months, I'm laying in bed and I'm looking up at the ceiling, and then all of a sudden I noticed that the ceiling was actually painted two different colors. One was like a bright white and one was like a yellowish off-white. And I have been looking at this ceiling every single day for 90 days. And I've been staring at this ceiling so many times, so many nights, and yet I never noticed that. It was there the whole time. It was right in front of me, but I never noticed it. You see, sometimes in life, things happen, and all of a sudden you notice something, you recognize something that you didn't see before. It doesn't change your circumstance, doesn't change what you're going through. But when you notice this thing that you hadn't noticed before, it instantly starts to change you. It gives you a new perspective. Maybe it gives you some encouragement. Maybe it gives you an idea, something you need to pursue. Maybe it gives you motivation. But it changes your perspective instantly. So sometimes we can be ripping and running so fast-paced all the time that we miss what is right there in front of us. I'm looking all over the house, room after room, table after table, and I walk past and look at the kitchen table multiple times, and yet I didn't see it. And then when I went back that last time, it was sitting there, almost as if to say, here I am. I've been here all along. I didn't see it. I was so in my mind and so becoming stressful, and everything was I was becoming frustrated and tense because where in the world is this remote? I know I had it. I know it has to be around here somewhere. And now, because I'm so frustrated, I'm missing it. I'm walking past and I'm looking, but I'm not really seeing. See, I can look at something and not even see it. You ever had a conversation with somebody and they're talking, but you're not really listening? You're nodding your head as if you're paying attention. But if they were to ask you to repeat what they just said, your mind is somewhere else and you weren't retaining the things that they said to you. Life is full of stress and frustration. And sometimes we got to slow down or we will miss what is right there in front of us. Sometimes in life you can be frustrated and you can be going through things and you're looking for a solution, you're looking for an answer, you're looking for something. And then all of a sudden it was right there all along. God is right there all along. He's that remote that you have been missing. You walked past it, you noticed it, you saw the table, but you didn't actually see the remote. You can see something without actually recognizing it. It can be lost, just like something on a movie. You've seen this movie so many times. How in the world could you have missed this one thing that you never noticed until today? That revelation, that curtain being pulled up, and then God shows you something. And then when you see it, it changes everything. For so many years, I was lost and beaten down. And then all of a sudden, I saw the remote. It was right there the whole time. Now that I've seen this, it makes life matter. It makes this moment important. Now that I know this, I can continue moving forward. I didn't see it. It was here all along. Maybe you've been ripping and running, chasing a career. Maybe you've been in drug addiction, or maybe you've been in depression. Maybe you've been just lost in your mind. And then one day you recognize just how important these little moments with your kids are. Maybe your kid comes home from school and shows you a drawing that they've done, or maybe a good grade on a homework assignment or something. And then you have this moment where your eyes just open up and you realize this is what's important. I'm out here pursuing all of this nonsense, but yet in life, this is what's important. This is what means something to me. I can't be busy doing all of this other stuff because I'm missing the things that are very important, that are right there in front of me. You can be blind to what is right in front of you, even though you see it. You see it, but you don't retain it. It doesn't mean anything. And then one day, it pops out of the screen. One day, you're looking everywhere, and then you walk past the table that you walked by so many times, and you finally see what you didn't see before because you were so busy, so frustrated, so full of stress, so full of worry that you missed it. Don't miss the important moments in life. Don't miss that calling of God in your life that says, rise up, let's do this. Don't miss those doors of opportunity that open and say, hey, walk through here, do this, because you can be so busy and so frustrated and so irritated that you miss these amazing moments in life. You miss the people that are really important. You ever have a conversation with someone, and when you leave that conversation, you realize this was a very important conversation. This conversation had so much worth and so much value. And if you're so busy, you can just kind of push people away and be like, no, I don't have time to talk. I don't have time for this moment. I can't answer the phone right now. I can't respond to this text. No, I can't come see you. I'm too busy. Don't you know how busy I am? And you can be so busy that you miss the important things in life. But it is those simple things that makes life worth living. It is those simple things that actually mean something. It's not the money. It's not the cars. It's not some status you have at your job or the letters behind your name. None of that is relevant. It's the people that make the difference. It's those moments with your kids, those moments with your parents if they're still alive. It's those moments where you stop and help a stranger. It's those moments where you stop and encourage someone, or you cry with someone who's suffering a loss in their family, or you encourage someone who's lost a job, or maybe they've totally gone bankrupt. Maybe their money that was once here is now gone and they're really struggling. Maybe you're walking with someone today that has gone through some things like you've been through, and they're leaning on you now because they can relate to you. You got to stop and see what is right in front of you. It was right here all along, but I missed it. See, every now and then God pulls that curtain up and He shows you, this is what's important. This is what I want you to do. This is who you are. Just like the lost son out in that field feeding the pigs, he woke up and said, what am I doing out here? Wait a minute, I just remembered who I am. He came to his senses. He came to himself. He woke up and said, wait a minute. Now that I remember this, now that I see this clearly, this changes everything. This is your year. This is your moment. This is your now. Wake up and embrace it. If you see something today that you haven't seen in a long time, something that you've been missing, implement it into your life. Take the wisdom and the direction that God is giving you and get up and fight. Get up and move forward. If it's time for you to cut something or someone out of your life because they're bringing you down, cut them off. If you need to get a new job because the job you have, it doesn't allow you to have any family time, then understand this. God will honor your sacrifice. He will provide all of your needs. He knows all the bills that you have due. He knows everything that is demanded of you. And that walk of faith sometimes says, I'm going to leave this alone and I'm going to move on to something new. You know, for many years I did laundry at a laundromat here in town. For about 15 years I did laundry there. And it was a big part of my life for so many years. It was a staple in my weekly responsibilities. It was something that I went to, somewhere that I went to all the time. I knew the people there. And you know what? A few months ago, that laundromat, it burned down. It had a fire late at night. And literally that building that was once there, it is now burnt to the ground. They've removed all of the rubble, and now it's just a concrete slab. And I was going to a store next to it the other day, and when I pulled in the parking lot, I realized, look, this building no longer exists. This thing that had been in my life for so long, not only did I just stop going to it, no, it no longer exists. The chains that used to enslave me, the drug addiction, the alcoholism, the being out in darkness, the being a slave, beaten down by depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts and just overwhelmed, hating life, that doesn't exist anymore. This thing, this weight that I carried for so long, it's no longer in my life. And so when I drove through that parking lot, I looked to see where once a building stood that I went to all the time for 15 years. It burnt to the ground, and now it no longer exists. And it has made way for new things in my life. Sometimes things have to die so that you can have new birth and new growth and go to a new level, do something different. And it's hard because sometimes we think this thing or this person or this business, it's going to be in my life forever. And then we have to find out, you know what? Everything that you think is going to be in your life forever, every person you think is going to be your friend forever, sometimes things happen. Relationships fall apart. Business opportunities close. Businesses close. Sometimes things happen and the door is shut so that God can lead you to another door that He opens up. And if this door didn't shut, then you wouldn't have moved over here. Sometimes things come to an end that we don't understand just so God can lead us to a new opportunity. Sometimes we see things today that we didn't see yesterday. And now that I've seen it, I cannot unsee it. Like Neo being unplugged from the Matrix. Once he woke up, he couldn't unsee that. Once he woke up, and he wasn't in the Matrix anymore, he had to see life. Dude, life is so different now that I see this. Your eyes open up. It's almost as if you've been walking blind for so long, and then God, bam, He shines that light. He shows you where the remote is. Here it is. This is what you've been looking for. I'm right here. This is it. Pick this up. Move on. Do what I'm asking you to do. Rise up. Be strong. Be courageous. It takes courage to make changes. So many people are so selfish and self-centered and they're so stubborn and they're unteachable that they can't make any changes. They don't apologize for anything. That they justify all the mistakes they make in their mind and say, well, I did this because of this. They're such a victim and they never take responsibility for their actions. It takes a person of courage to make changes. It takes a person of courage to look in the mirror and be honest and say, you know what? I've been doing this all wrong. I need some help. I need God to rescue me. I need His direction. I need His wisdom. I need to be hanging out with better people. I need to go out and help others instead of being so selfish and so self-centered. See, that takes courage. So you can easily just live your life and ignore all of that. Blame all of your problems on other people, and you will remain the victim from the day you're born to the day you die. The truth is this. These opportunities that you have, they won't be here forever. So seize the moment. Maximize the moment. Seize the now and rise up. Over the last few years, I've never read anything as powerful as this. I was reading a book a few years ago, and it said this in the book. It said, the longer we live, the more we realize that when we are born, we look like our parents, but when we die, we look like our decisions. The longer we live, the more we realize that when we are born, we look like our parents, but when we die, we look like our decisions. If you are unhappy with the way you look today, it's time to start making better choices, making better decisions. When you die, you look like your decisions. Your life is merely a collection of all the decisions you've made, both poor and both good, both bad, wise, foolish. You are a collection of the decisions that you've made. When you're born, you look like your parents, but when you die, you look like your decisions. That cut me so deep. And it hit me so hard a few years ago because I was not happy with my life. And I was not happy with the way I looked. And I was not happy with my decisions. I was not happy with what other people thought of me. And I was not happy with what I thought about myself. I was not happy at all. I was miserable and I was enslaved. I make better decisions today and I do not regret it. When you die, you look like your decisions. What are the choices and decisions you're making today? If God has shown you where the remote is on the table, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to just ignore it? Or are you going to rise up and implement that wisdom and implement that knowledge and start using it in your daily life? See, when God teaches you something, when you implement it into your life, it starts to make your life better. I have been ripping and running for so many years that I was missing the important things in life. Don't let this moment pass you by. Don't let this opportunity close on you. As this door is open, walk through it. You know, when God shows you something today that you've been missing and that you haven't seen before, it was there the whole time, but now it pops off the page and it hits you right in the eyes and right between your two ears, right in the mind. It hits you hard and it says, this is for you. That is when you need to consume it, marinate in it, meditate on it, rise up, gain the strength and the courage that you need, because let me be very clear. It takes courage to change. It takes courage to depend on God. But man, it's worth it. I don't want to miss opportunities anymore. I don't want life to just pass me by and I'm busy pursuing things that are unimportant when meanwhile the things that are important I'm ignoring. I don't want to just walk through and glance over something and actually miss something. I was seeing it with my eyes, but it wasn't registering in my mind. I looked at that table so many times. I'm looking for the remote. I'm becoming frustrated. And I got so frustrated that I missed it. But it's right there the whole time. I was so in my mind in the halfway house that I didn't even notice. I'm looking at the ceiling, but I'm not seeing it. I'm looking at certain things in my life, but I'm not seeing it. And when God allows you to see it, take that opportunity. Rise up. Maximize the moment. My encouragement to you today is to get to know Him better. God's got a plan for your life. He can break the chains that have enslaved you. He can replace your misery and torment with joy, but you got to let Him in. And you got to put the things He's teaching you, you got to put the things He's teaching you into practice. There's got to be action. Walk holding His hand every step of the way. What an amazing life that I now live. From years of torment, years in darkness. The longer we live, the more we realize when we are born, we look like our parents. But when we die, we look like our decisions. Have a wonderful day.